Live, ready to go. Welcome. Welcome to the LBL ESD board meeting for this is October 16, 2024. I have introduction. I'll start. I'm Jean Woodle, Zone 1.
Jason Payne, Superintendent.
Michael Thompson, Zone 3.
Roger Irvin, Zone 2.
Miriam Cummins, Chief Araya, Zone 6.
Tim Jones, Executive IT Officer.
Brock Ware, Executive Financial Officer.
Nancy Griffith, Assistant Superintendent. Lisa Shames, Executive Assistant.
No recognition.
Jim Blount, he, him, Zone 4 Board Director.
Amy Vetter, she, her, Zone 5 Board Director.
David Dunstan, Zone 7 Board Member.
Very good. Okay. Pledge the flag. David, you want to lead us off?
I can't.
I pledge allegiance to the
To
flag
the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
One nation.
a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
first item of business.
We acknowledge
Go back. That's okay. Oh, well. We still have 2 minutes, so we're on.
I apologize.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay. Yeah, so monthly acknowledgement. You can see on pages 5 and 6 that I put together September and October monthly acknowledgement. One of the things that you can see here that there are so many acknowledgements that are important to the groups that we represent, that are part of our community, and in service areas that we have. You know, a little bit of reflection from last month and thinking about our acknowledgement and that I wanted to share with the board is that this is something that in the past few years we've had our HR member of the HR team that put a lot of things together and created this, and unfortunately, due to some cuts that we needed to make, that person's position was actually cut. And so when we got to it, it's turned into a situation where I just didn't think about it in the same way. And so it was a good reminder for us to back to it and think about it. I'm going to suggest to the board that I will continue to put these together for the next few months. But during our work session and our retreat, I think it would be a really good discussion for us to have as a board and executive team about how we want to do these. And maybe, like what Miriam did, and thank you so much, Miriam, for speaking on behalf of National Hispanic Heritage Month at the last board meeting. Maybe there's some that board members want to put together. Maybe we have staff members put it together where it's not just one person that's pulling it together. So
I know we did this something. I remember doing something like that a couple of years ago with Tanya, where she would ask us if we would want to add, because I know I've spoken on behalf of the National Hispanic Heritage this month.
yeah.
And so I thought that was something.
Yeah, I think my understanding is that there were two things with it when I really reflected back and looked at it. One is Tanya informally was doing that with different people. The other was a little bit more formal in that the EDILC, the Equity, Diversity, Inclusion Committee, actually worked on a list for a while. So we actually have a document where we've tried to capture all of the different days and weeks and months of acknowledgements. And so that committee put some effort into it. I remember at the time it stalled out just a bit because it became very hard to decide. One of the things that Tanya really wanted to do, and I remember there were a few different times where there was some internal conflict that I know that she had, because she really wanted there to be like, let's acknowledge one thing for that month. Well, you can see from this list, just at the October observances, how do you really say one of these is more important than the other when you think about all the different people that we should be celebrating and everything. And so I think that was a bit of a challenge, and I know that was a bit of a challenge with EDILC. Okay, do we pick one thing and we have we do this year but not next year, that sort of thing. So I think it would be a really good topic of discussion. That's a suggestion that I have for the board as we think about this.
Is the EDILC, is it still active?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe what we could do, and this is my suggestion, is if we are having a work session here or retreat, maybe having the EDILC come in and speak to hear, like, if this is something we're going to work on, I think having that perspective so at the table would be very important for making these types of decisions.
Yeah.
That would be my take.
Okay.
Make sure we are looking at an equitable lens and having the voices on the table when making a decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so between now and January, when we come together, my intent is to have a conversation around this with EDILC. And so, I mean, we certainly could queue this up as a part of a discussion and have some of them join our discussion.
That would-
We want to do that. So, yeah, that's what I have for today.
Just wanted to say that I'm mostly hearing Jason okay, but Miriam, I am having difficulty hearing.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to speak loud. Can you hear me now? You'd like the, okay. I'll make sure I look this way.
Yeah, that's probably it, it's because, yeah, you're talking towards me.
No, sorry, Jason.
That's okay. That's good.
Yeah, I don't think it's volume. I do think maybe it's where you're pointed. But I also wanted to mention that I love the idea that you proposed, Jason, and I would be excited about volunteering to take on a month for recognition.
Great, thank you.
Likewise.
Yep. Now you
Okay,
can clerk.
now I can do clerk's business. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Is there any corrections or changes or questions about the consent agenda?
No corrections to be made.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been accepted, the consent agenda as presented. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
We actually are having one. Yes. So.
Oh, Ben.
Yes,
Okey-dokey.
sorry, does it not say on there or?
Yeah.
Yep.
It does, but it's just, it's always on there. It's just like this.
It's all good. I'm right here with you, Gene, for.
Yeah, so I will read off this camouflage here.
So let me cancel the live stream.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Again,
Yours.
so recess to executive session for executive session for ORS 192.660. My voice. 2A to consider the appointment of a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual